Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Warhammer Wednesdays and Once Upon a Time in the Old World. I am your Games Master, Jim, and these are my hardy group of players.
Hey, everybody, I'm Aaron, and I am playing Hagen Ritter von Delbers, the knight adventurer who last week went toe-to-toe with a bunch of storm vermin and is currently sort of laid up in bed, still recovering. I spent my XP on agility and picked up a rank in athletics.
I'm Kevin. I'm playing Gerhard Akram, who is a wizard, no longer a wizard apprentice. And I haven't spent my experience from last week because I'm deciding what I want to do with it yet.
Hey, by gum, I'll be Dan, and I'll be playing the Dowie Pitfighter Mordek. And this week, I have been spending my XP on my hitty weapon skill.
Hi, I'm Colin. I'm playing Cowlin Redemacher, the human thug, and I just spent 200 XP on a second rank of Strike Mighty Blow.
Hi all, I'm Dan, and I'm playing the once plucky elf Ilmarin, now slightly broken Ilmarin, and I haven't spent any XP yet.
Okay, so as you rejoin our band of wholesome warriors and magicians and knights and elves and dwarves, we have just spent a night of a little bit of healing in temples within Ubersreik due to a couple of the party taking a little bit of a kicking, of which I believe that Hagen took a brunt of it after standing there like a Trojan and completely wiping out half of the rat-like beastman population, and being finished off, I believe, by I'm going to forget her name now. Carolyn, that's it. I was nearly there.
Cowlin killed the very last one after Hagen
Yes.
wiped out everything else.
But in the nick of time.
In the nick of time, yes.
As we
saving
join
him
the
from
guys,
certain death, yes.
as we join the guys and girls tonight, Johan has taken himself off to work with a local engineer on the cart come coach that they're going to be using to leave Ubersreik with, together with the Lady Nat, who they've been asked to escort out the city for our own safety. They estimated, well, Johan estimated that this would take about 7 to 8 days. So this leaves the rest of the party to gather equipment, maybe start a few bar fights, looking at the dwarf, and
I'm sure bar fights
and maybe heal up a little bit and help get things back in order within the Temple of Ulrich, maybe.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my big objectives, is trying to see if we can reconsecrate the temple.
Okay. So Hagen has spent the night at the temple. Remind me again, which temple were you in?
Shaila.
Yeah. And you wake up in the morning with a bit of an headache, very sore. This is probably the most badly that you've been wounded in your whole entire fighting career, to be fair. This beats the beatings that you used to get from the older, bigger boys at Squire School or whatever it was. And everybody else has. Did you go back to the Red Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You've spent the night there, sort of refreshing yourselves, and you all wake up to that familiar smell.
I woke up.
Of fish and potato stew coming from the downstairs bar area.
I thought we added another ingredient.
It's possible, but
Hard to tell
who
with the
knows
smell
what?
of fish and
Yeah,
potatoes.
well, Gunter cooked up some sausages and some bacon and some potato cakes and all sorts last time, but they decided that it was a no-go because it wasn't a big enough
demolished.
uptake.
I got demolished.
Yeah.
Quite
Alex
literally.
even took some for the road. First time I ate in that place.
And it's very strange, Hagen. You wake up to the very familiar smell of fish and potato stew as well, and there's a little sort of metal bowl cup on your bedside sort of table where you are, and some kind fellow or lady has been down and kindly put some warm but slightly tepid stew next to your bed, ready to give you that big sort of boost for the day. Yeah.
He groans. He looks at the stew. He's like, I don't feel well enough to face that at the moment. You just have some plain bread, perhaps.
We could do. And you look down at the stew, and there's some jolly looking potatoes floating round and bobbing up and down in this stew.
I would have thought
But
it was tepid.
you notice on a couple of a couple of the
Like-
potatoes do seem to have like the stalks growing from them a little bit. They're probably left a little bit too long to be cooking, really. But hey, it could be extra vitamin C.
Yeah, I think Hagen is he's definitely still a little too beat up to face the fish and potato stew. So he'll just kind of lean back and ask if any of his associates are still in the temple.
I don't believe so, sir. Says a very quiet young man, very clean shaven. He has a clean shaven head as well. Looks very respectable. He's just a generally all round nice chap, or seems it. Yeah.
Sir, you must forgive me. In my delirious state, I may have forgotten your name. How may I call you?
You can call me Kai, sir.
And are you a novitiate at the temple?
I just volunteer at the moment.
Well, then, could you lend me your shoulder while I get out of bed, see about getting myself back to my associates? Because Hagen is still he's still in really rough shape.
Are you sure that's wise, sir?
Well, there are many things that we need to attend to, and although I don't feel that well, I'm not exactly planning on jumping into sewers to fight beastmen today, so I should get about my business. The work of Ulrich is never done.
Well, I can give you an answer. And he sort of leans down and helps you up out of bed. Again, very stiff, very sore. Yeah.
Yeah, in mechanical terms, Hagen is well under half his hit points still, so he is not feeling great.
If you want, sir, I could put all your things in a wheelbarrow, the ones that we use to remove the dead bodies, and I could probably follow you down to where you're staying, maybe.
You know, that would be a great service. I would appreciate that. But he will take the hammer in his hand. He goes, I'll carry this, but if you could help me back with any of the other things, that would be greatly appreciated.
Is that your crutch, sir?
The Hammerzite is an heirloom of my family's, and as long as I draw breath, if I'm walking, it will be in my hands.
Oh, okay. That's quite a nice weapon, sir.
It served me well yesterday, and I believe it has served my family well for quite some time.
I'd hate to see the other chap, sir.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how it ended. They knocked me out in the end, but several of the foul beastmen fell beneath Hammerzite's blows.
Beastmen, you say?
Aye. In the sewers beneath the Temple of Ulrich, we encountered
In the sewers
beastmen.
beneath all Ubersreik.
Indeed. I would
Did
not
they have-
hide that.
Did they have yellow teeth, sir?
They had green glowing eyes and yellow teeth and looked almost like rats walking on their hind legs.
Did
The
they
size
have
of
matted
men.
fur, sir?
I can't recall. They were it was a very quick encounter and very dark, but they were the size of men and looked like rats with green glowing eyes and foul smelling breath, and they struck hard. I think I would have handled them all if one of their cowardly lot hadn't shot me with that arrow.
What? So to use an arrow was a cowardly move. Did he shoot you from behind, sir?
No, he shot me from the shadows.
Oh,
Perhaps cowardly is too strong of a word, but it's tactics that I myself don't approve of. But I do know some very good marksmen, so I suppose cowardly is not really a fair assessment. Thank you for pointing that out to me.
devious.
Devious? Yes, without a doubt they were devious.
Assassins from the shadows.
Perhaps.
Oh, very devious. So if you was to give any advice on this, you would say, don't turn your back on a bowman, or don't turn your back on the shadows.
I would
or
say
beware of furry assassins.
I would say try to always keep your eyes open and be aware of your situations. And hopefully you'll never face something like that.
Okay, yeah, I hope I never face anything like that, sir. Anyway, I'll go and get the wheelbarrow.
Thank you, my friend.
And he disappears, and then from it seems like a long off distance, you hear that as this chap comes back in, and it slowly gets closer and louder, and it's this wheelbarrow that's incredibly squeaky. Yeah, and it's just going through your hurting head at the moment.
Oh, thank you, Ulrich, for challenging me and showing me the frailty of my mortal form.
Yeah. So, if you want to put everything that's heavy in the wheelbarrow, sir, and I'll make sure that you get back to wherever you're staying.
It's pretty much just his chainmail. I mean, he's got everything else on him.
And he struggles to pick that up off the floor, but he sort of drags it halfway in, and then drags a little bit more in, and then until it all sort of falls into the wheelbarrow. I've noticed you've got a bit of rip in that chainmail, sir. More to get that sorted.
Now that's one of the first tasks I must deal with today. That, and I actually my leather cuirass was absolutely destroyed in the fight, so I have quite a day with the armor or a blacksmith and getting myself rekitted.
Okay. Anyway, you lead the way, sir, and I'll follow closely behind with the barrow.
We can go side by side, my friend.
Ah, okay, yeah. And he walks next to you, and you notice that for most of the journey, he seems to be talking to you, but you can't hear him over this really loud squeaking and noise from the wheelbarrow. But your head's hurting that much, you think it's just best to sort of nod and smile at him. And when he pauses and looks at you, you sort of go, "What did you say again?" Yeah, but yeah. So everybody at the Red Moon Inn, what's going on there? The smell of fish and potatoes is wafting
Carolyn
upstairs.
has got up, cleaned some more of the dried blood off her head. She's mostly recovered. She's still down 3 wounds, but
Okay.
Ilmarin appears to be playing a merry tune on his lute, which is the first time he's done that in a long while.
Are you down in the bar, Dan?
Yeah, I'm down in the bar, just twiddling away, little elven tune, humming away to myself,
Okay.
not eating the stew.
There are 2 very gaudy dressed gentlemen down there with waxed moustaches of incredible size and twirliness. One has blonde hair, the other one has black hair, but their facial hair has been sculpted immaculately, into almost sculptures of hair on their faces. And both of them have shoulder length hair that is swept back and sort of stays in place almost. Very, very well groomed gentlemen. In fact, these are probably the cleanest human beings that you've had the pleasure to have seen for a long time.
Ilmarin can appreciate that. You can appreciate the clean and tidiness.
Yeah.
They're still humans, so still a little bit dirty, but we make do with what we got.
Okay. Gerhardt, Mordek.
I'm probably studying my reading materials quite intently, bent over some table in the common room, I would imagine. But trying to figure out what went wrong, what went right in the battle, see if we can figure out how to do magicking better next time. Every day is a school day.
Mordek is probably being a little antisocial given the last battle, as he's not feeling it. So he will be. Oh no, he was having a bath, wasn't he? Yeah, proper bath.
Yes.
oh yes,
was,
you went off to have
Yeah.
a bath.
Well, I
with the
thought we'd
elf.
done that. I thought we'd done that already. Sorry. Yeah, we went to the baths, didn't we? And I followed you, not realising it was a dwarven bath.
Yeah. So
you've had a good dwarven wash. The soap was almost charcoal, and you do smell of underground rocks and moss, but it's a nice smell. Yeah, to you it smells of home and battles and
excellent.
undergroundness. Yeah.
So with that in mind, after that, I'll return back to the bar.
You also smell of moss and charcoal and coal and various mining implements and things.
It's probably still better than the smell that's in the bar.
Yes, absolutely it is. Yeah.
It was probably a very interesting experience for Ilmarin, being in a dwarven bath with dwarfs. I imagine you got quite a few sideways looks.
I'm
Yeah,
impressed that
yeah,
he came
yeah.
back without more bruises than he entered with.
I've done nothing but show the dwarfs respect since I've been in the old world, you know. Apart from the odd stunty joke with my dear friend Mordek.
Dear friends.
Well, you know, us elder races have got to stick together.
Language we were using were allies.
Yeah. Friends of convenience.
So these 2 foppish gentlemen that are in the bar, they both wear outrageous sort of cod pieces and really sort of baggy pantaloons that go into tights, but only a small part of the tights can be seen because they have the most heroic boots that you've ever seen. They're almost pirates in their heroicness, but they are just the overhang of them, the fold. Yeah, it's just the most impressive leather boot you've ever seen. And one of they seem to be identically dressed, apart from the colours. So the black-haired one is wearing purples and dark blues. The blonde-haired one is wearing oranges and yellows. But the one wearing purples and blues does seem a little bit taller and much more muscly than the other one. Muscly than the other one. And they keep looking over and smiling.
Marin just keeps playing his lute. He's lost to the world. He's just playing away.
And make a point of ignoring them because we've had way too much trouble already. Just, anything for quiet life at the moment as we prepare for the next job.
Yeah, something like that. Carolyn wants to head
So-
out fairly sharpish and
The one in
Do stuff.
in the orange and yellow stands up and he comes over towards you, and you notice that he has got a medium length cape on that almost comes round on one shoulder, and it has tassels all along the bottom. Quite the most outrageous thing you've ever seen, to be fair, but it's obviously some strange fashion or other. And he gives the most outrageous bow that you've ever seen. His hand and head almost scrape the floor as he bows towards the elf.
The elf gives a curt nod back, but continues to play.
If I could speak to you, my fair elven friend.
Wait, is he speaking with a French? Oh, sorry,
Is he a Bretonian?
Is he
Yeah.
talking with a Bretonian accent?
No, it's my very bad accent. He's not from Bretonia.
Is it Italian?
It's a pizza. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. He almost sounds Tillian, maybe.
Ah,
It's trying to be a Norse accent.
Your music, it is fantastic.
well, thank you, kind sir. Just continues to play, humming a little elven tune.
Tell me, do you play the cards?
The what?
The cards, and he reaches inside his cape and pulls out this pack of rectangular cardboard card things printed with funny pictures of royals and
To which Ilmarin goes, I can't say I've ever played that musical instrument.
no, these are not musical instruments. They are instruments of fun and joy.
Oh, if you say so. And Ilmarin continues to play. He's trying not to get to like the others. We've been in way too many situations. Ilmarin is trying not to get to
Would you care for a game of said cards?
I feel I would be at disadvantage, I'm afraid to say. And also,
But
what is the purpose of playing cards?
well, it is the thriller of the rush that you get. It is such a very a fantastic thing. It's you put up some of your money, and I put up some of my money,
Oh,
the
it's
winner, they take-
gambling.
I have heard it called that before. Yes.
Ah, this is not something the elves partake in. It's a bit of a vice, is it not?
Ah. Okay.
Yes, I feel I should stay clear of this. It's not something an elven diplomat, of course, as well. Myself being a diplomat, should be getting involved with. But thank you for the offer. It was very kind of you.
You are a diplomat?
I was at one point. I have been falling on hard times recently. My band that I travel with have needed less diplomacy recently.
Why do you, if you are a diplomat, why do you stay in a, how would you say,
A fine establishment
hole
like
of-
this?
a hole of shit like this?
Because this is where our employer put us up. So
A very shallow, pocketed employer, yes?
yeah, looking at the place, you could say that, but it has its rustic charms.
That is good. Well, maybe we will see you later, yes?
Perhaps.
Okay, so you smell more moss and stone as Mordek makes his way down the stairs, looking very clean and well groomed, even
Mordek
though
walks down
his
the
hair
stair-
is still very unkempt after sleeping without it tied up. But
Is that-
it almost has that back combed look at the moment, and yeah, it almost looks elegant, but maybe not.
That Mordek walks down the stairs and Ilmarin gets distracted and breaks a string.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Ding, yeah. And you hear some words in Elvish. They're clearly curse words the way he said them, but you don't know what they mean. Must have been his heavy boots as he walked downstairs.
Okay. So you're getting yourself ready downstairs, and another familiar face walks into the bar. A stooped little man with scraped over hair over his head, a little bit rat-like, but you know him as the Christian von Gebel, the lawyer to Lady Nat, and potentially Witchfinder. Gentlemen, just the ones I wanted to see. Now, I did tell you that I was going to bring you some revenue over, so to speak, so you could get a few things and yes, things like that. So I've brought you this big bag of gold over, and he clunks it onto the table, and he pulls this piece of paper that has been rolled up out of his pocket, and he says, naturally, you'll have to sign to say that you have had this. Yes, I've got the sum of 75 gold crowns here. Yeah, it's almost a king's ransom, that you could have said. But yes, if you'll just sign for it here, then
How
we can
loudly
go.
is Von Gevel saying this?
Yeah, I was just thinking. That.
Very, very, very. In fact, he's saying it that loudly. There's something amiss, and you just realise that everybody else has stopped talking in the bar, yeah, and is sort of like looking over at you. And at that point, as he hands the contract over, your friend and knight comes walking in with a particularly loud wheelbarrow next to him, with a hairless young boy next to him, wheeling the wheelbarrow.
Morning, my friends. Von Gebel, it's even good to see you today.
Indeed it is. I've brought you 75 gold crowns down. So, yeah, obviously you've got to sign for them, but, you know, it's yours to do what you will. I mean, this will probably be the last that you get unless I can get more money to you. But, yeah, I mean, you know, it's almost the king's ransom, you could have said. But yes.
Don't you think that perhaps you could have been a little more discreet in announcing a king's fortune in the middle of a rundown tavern? But I digress. I'm still quite injured, Von Gebel. Forgive my rudeness.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, yes. It kind of looks like you've had a bit of a beating.
We fought off a small horde of beastmen below in the sewers under the Temple of Ulrich yesterday.
Don't sell yourself short. You fought off a small horde of beastmen.
It was only through the efforts of my companions that I survived.
I'll take that
one. Well, maybe you should check yourself in with the cult of Sigmar to make sure that, especially fighting beastmen, you wouldn't want there to be any sort of markings of chaos on your personage. And he sort of gets serious almost for a second.
I agree with you.
Yes, but I'd suggest you do that.
That's where we'll be headed after I repair my armor, where I'm just now returning from the Temple of Shayla.
Okay. So he carries on talking his normal gobshitery, but you notice that he doesn't take his eyes off you for very long, Hagen, and almost squints at you when he looks at you.
And Hagen will brush in a little closer and then drop his voice. He's like, I understand the act you're playing. If you would like to go to a more secluded spot and look me over yourself, Witchfinder, that is fine. I will hide nothing before Sigmar or Ulrich.
Maybe we could do that later. Yes, yes.
I am at your disposal, Von Gebel, and I appreciate your help.
I may come to see you later. There are things to do. There are rumours that the Bretonians have joined with the Jungfreuds, and maybe moving on to Ubersreik, which, yeah, it could be major trouble. So I would have thought your best course of action would be to head north.
I do appreciate that bit of information, and we will proceed as we had planned.
Indeed.
Hagen turns to the rest of his friends. He gives him that look. He gives him that look that says, I have had my ass thoroughly handed to me and I'm barely standing. So for the love of God, somebody please come grab this chainmail before I fall over.
You muted? Go on.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No?
Yeah,
Ilmarin not
Carolyn
understand-
will come and grab the
Oh, that
chainmail
look.
and
Ilmarin
just
was like,
haul it over.
Carolyn's quite strong.
Carolyn
you,
is
Carolyn.
quite strong. Also, probably going to spend some of that 75 gold, or probably intending to spend some of that 75 gold on some armor for herself, because she'd quite like something a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe a helmet. Helmet would be
Yeah.
good.
Hagen puts a hand on
Armor
Carolyn's
somewhere.
shoulders and he's like, yes, I think we both need to be fitted with armor before some scoundrels decide that they should part us
Before
with some of
something
this
else,
gold.
before something else tries to take my head apart.
Given that I'm one of the only types of wizard that can wear metal armor.
Mm.
Yeah.
I imagine even Ilmarin is considering the trouble we've been in. Maybe
Shopping
some armor.
spree. Shopping spree, armor. Yeah. It's one
Yeah,
of the
you,
things.
you do almost start daydreaming of the armor that you would wear, Ilmarin, and you could definitely see yourself in a pointed helmet with maybe wings on it, maybe golden, maybe silver. Yeah, definitely a high helm. A high pointed helm. Yeah, it would look good, and maybe some pointed shoulder pieces as well.
Oh,
Some
beautiful.
pointed pauldrons, yeah.
Yeah, and beautiful fan braces with a lovely gem in it, and scales in the shoulders. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Shame you
but
should-
maybe if you took charge of the coinage, and then you could maybe, because you are a diplomat after all, you could maybe work a deal out to, so that you could get some, maybe not free armor, but you could get free armor for the others, maybe, or
Ilmarin is not taking the gold. He doesn't want that responsibility. And normally Johan would take that, but Johan's busy at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, normally you wouldn't even think about gold, and it also you sort of check yourself on that. It's mortal money. It means nothing normally, or it never has done. And recently you've started to not crave it, but you can almost see its value.
Yeah, Ilmarin kind of shakes it off. And, yeah.
Hagen looks around and he says, maybe we should all travel together, considering what we'll be carrying. And
Considering the announcement
God knows
that
I could.
Bill just made
Yes.
to the world.
And God knows I could use somebody's shoulder to lean on.
Perhaps another night of rest would do you the world of good before we start venturing off into the wide world.
Without a doubt, Elmar, and I am going to I need to take the afternoon and evening at rest, hopefully. So
It's
let
a
us
shame-
make what purchases we need in the morning, and then
It's a shame we don't have the availability of an elven healer. Like, you would be back on your feet in no time.
I have heard wonders of your people's magics. It is unfortunate.
Yeah, Gerhardt, can you do any healing magic?
I'm afraid it's not within the wind that I study now.
Ah, that's right. You guys are all kind of locked to one thing, aren't you?
By the order of the elves, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, well, yes. There's good reason for it, though. I'm sure. Not being part of that.
Learning a wind of magic takes one of our lifetimes. You have a lot more time to play with. I understand.
It's very true. It's very true.
It's not a plaything, but no, no healing.
I'll have you know, for some elves, they do like to just play with magic. It's a bit weird. Did you know that the elven people are so magical? There are some people who just use magic to farm their fields. It's crazy.
No.
And you're all seeing there's a little bit of old Ilmarin coming out today. He seems almost like he's accepted his place right now, or at least he's putting on a damn good show that he's accepted his place right now.
No,
He
but
definitely seems more perky.
I'll talk to you about it again, though. I'm curious about that.
So yes, shall we dilly the day away and play music and enjoy ourselves today and allow our friend Hagen to rest, and hide the money, so that it's nice and safe and we're all having a lovely day.
I would say, Maran, I do not trust the way the winds of fate have blown around us these last few days. Let's make our shopping done now, and then rest the rest of the day. Particularly if Von Gebel's words are true and no more money's forthcoming. My armor was all but destroyed in that fight yesterday.
Fine. And Ilmarin reluctantly stands up and goes, perhaps we should spread it out so if at least one of us gets attacked, we'll still have it all,
Or if we all stay together and one of us gets attacked, there's everyone else to back him up.
Attacked isn't my concern. It's the
Yes.
person who bops past you in the crowd and leaves with your purse and is down the street before you've noticed. Splitting it into multiple bags makes it harder for someone to take all of it at once.
See, that's what I was thinking, Karen, because I've heard about
Outrageous.
these.
75 gold is quite heavy and large. And they're not just going to ease it off your purse. You're carrying it like fucking this.
That's true.
All of you have
but
never
still.
seen even half that amount of money in one go before.
Probably
I would-
the equivalent weight of a head.
Crazy amount of money. But
I would say if we hand the bag to Mordak and he walks with us, it should be safe. No one would be foolish enough to approach such a fierce warrior to try to steal from him.
Hagen, have you heard about dwarven gold greed?
I trust my Dowie brothers as I trust myself. I am sure Mordak would stand firm with his companions. Isn't that right, Mordak?
Mordek, who has been ignoring the entire conversation and just looking into his beer and kind of drinking it, kind of looks up and goes, "Hey up, manling. Dowie, don't steal from anything."
Well, it's settled. The Dowie's holding the gold. Let's go shopping.
And cue the shopping montage.
Everybody do some shopping. Shopping.
Okay.
We're going to see these colourful dudes again.
Okay. So what sort of things are we looking for? Are we gonna have a discussion what we want to go and get before we go, or are we just gonna wander around and see where it takes us?
I think we've all got
Hagen
something we
for
want to
sure
buy.
I want some armor.
Yeah,
I need a couple of bits of armor as well.
I was thinking
I need a helmet.
a boiled leather breastplate at a minimum for Hagen, if not some improved leg and arm armor. But
I mean, I would think that first priority in terms of armoring would be to get the frontline fighters armored. because they're most likely to get twatted.
Ilmarin agrees with this principle.
This
Ilmarin
side
agrees.
of my Zoom, but I don't know where you guys are in relation to that.
Ilmarin agrees and agrees with the wizard and says we probably should get our soldiers. You know, Hagen, Mordek, Carolyn. You guys should definitely get the best armor, because basically, when it all goes to hell again, which is going to, because we seem to attract a lot of trouble.
We do. We do.
You guys can be at the front.
It is where Ulrich would have me.
Exactly. So if we get you guys,
And you seem to be doing a pretty good job there, so,
we get you guys, ready to take the hits, and then, Gerhardt can zap his magic, and, I can...
I wouldn't object to some armor, but...
well, I don't think I would either. Even if I don't appreciate human armor, I would, wouldn't say no to something making myself a little bit,
more
protected.
I don't
Because
think anyone's going to object to it.
since being in all of your companies, I've been shot at, I've been stabbed at. There's been attempts at all sorts of things in my life. There's been some halflings crowding me. I feel like I need protection.
I agree.
Right.
It's a shame there's no elven blacksmiths here.
I'm gonna try and get my hands on nail. Is it shoes? Pants. Nail pants. And a nail
Chef.
coat. This is like 5 gold.
Albratus has brought a good point up. Healing potions.
Are they a thing?
Yeah, that is a good point.
No, they were.
Yeah,
Is that
they are.
something
They
you
are a
can
thing.
pick up in the shops in this kind of?
No, you'd probably have to go and see an alchemist of some form. But again, alchemists in Warhammer are quite a little bit different to that in D&D. A lot of them would sell remedies and things. I would say 75% of the things that they make probably
Make
don't
you
work
worse.
whatsoever. Yeah.
So I'm thinking those Wild West.
Snake
Tonic
oil.
salesman. Yep,
What
yep.
was
Snake,
yeah,
yes.
you know,
snake
Snake
oil
oil.
and tonics.
Snake-
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, what can we get in terms of armor?
Ubersreik's a pretty big city, so I
Yeah,
think most
yes,
things.
you could get anything possibly, but you'd have to pay for it.
Yes. How much would things
My
cost?
foundry seems to have crashed.
Page 300 on the rulebook if you're looking for a shop
Yeah.
list.
Is there a way
Ah.
I can do a role as a negotiation type role? I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, just I'm trying to find an item list.
It doesn't seem to have loaded in Foundry. I tried to
No.
pull it up earlier, but it is on page 300 in the rulebook, like you said.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate though, because we can't drag and drop onto our character sheets if it's not loading in
There
Foundry.
is trappings
So-
in Foundry. I've got the trappings list up myself.
You do?
Yeah.
I can't pull it up.
Yeah, I've just pulled it up as well. Yeah, it does work. Yeah.
I'll restart Foundry.
I imagine Johan would want some armor also, or possibly some money to do his work with.
Pick pistol.
I assume he's already in mail though. Seems like he would be in mail. Yeah,
Plate
Healing
helm,
stuff.
plate breastplate. Yeah.
307.
Wowzers. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the trappings list all works, and it's got the prices in there, and we'll use the price list. In fact, you will have the seal. I think we gave you that to start with as you came into the city, and that will get you 10% off any of the shops. It's your student rail card. Or, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
There's-
you can get, and also you can barter. I'm not going to always make you roll, but yeah, if you can talk me into giving you a better price for something, then yeah, we'll see how we go.
Well,
But,
I'm hoping as an ex-merchant, maybe my character might be able to finagle a couple of things
Yeah,
and see what
yeah.
happens. Because it is
I mean,
a roll.
you can roll, but you will get bonus points for selling me ice and from Eskimos and things, or two Eskimos even, or even 3 Eskimos.
What?
There is a.
Oh, don't worry about
draft.
it. Took far too many tablets today, and yeah, everything's a little bit warped.
Pick them out by colour.
Oh my word!
There is a healing draft, which is 10/0, which I assume is 10 silver, is it?
Yeah.
I've just noticed the Bugman's 6x ale per pint, 9 brass pennies. That's a bargain. Mordek goes out to buy armor and ends up in a pool of his own piss.
No. The last time he went to, out and about on his own and ended up in that bar and had a certain disagreement about Bugman's best.
Yeah. Well, that was Motel, wasn't it? I believe.
I will stick with everyone else.
But healing draft, you have more than 0 wounds, recover toughness bonus wounds immediately.
Yeah.
Dose is only 1 per encounter, though. Still pretty fucking nice. Everyone has a healing draft. In fact, we could get 10 doses of healing draft. We can find someone to sell it to us, and it would cost like a gold coin.
So I forgot to tell you, Gerhard, but as Von Gebel left you to do what you want to do, he slipped you a small piece of paper. And it basically said on it, Herman Hauningstein, wizard. It wrote next to it wizard, and it said it gives the 93 the High Street, Ubersreik.
Hauningstein. Probably find that guy once we're done with a little bit of shopping. I want to try and get myself, or maybe I'll give the guys a list and then I'll go that way.
I've actually forgot how great Foundry is. I always, every week, I load up all my PDF books and I've got them all on ready to go, and I look through them.
And then
But
you
I
just look
forget
at
the
Foundry.
resource that is. Yeah, I just don't get it. Yeah, it's newfangled technology. Yeah.
So Hagen would probably be shopping for a boiled leather breastplate and plate bracers and leggings if we could afford it. It'd be about.
We can afford it.
Surely you're looking for full plate.
I mean, seriously, we could actually we could probably gear 2 of us up in full plate and have plenty left over to kit out the rest we want.
Our knight should definitely be in full plate.
Yeah,
that's 28 gold out of the 75 just to get.
But
me
you're
in
a
full
knight, you
plate
should
now.
be in
So
full
what?
plate.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
a knight. That's how it's
Hey.
gonna be.
If you guys are
we'll stand
okay
in
with it,
front and get
if you guys are
trampled by,
okay with it, I'll go for it. But I didn't want to be sucking out almost half the money myself. So, but yeah, I'll look
That's
for.
fine. The rest of us
full
can
plate
have
then.
that.
We also should
Money
probably
leaks.
leave some money aside for Roger's character so he can go and buy the pistols he wants.
I think he's making the pistols he wants.
Well,
Yeah,
buy
they'll
some
probably
materials. to
But-
make
Yeah,
some-
buy materials for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise
I
you'll never
think
forgive us.
first order of business, if we got money for armor spending, would probably be Hagen, because he does the most twattery in a single round.
He does do terrifying amounts of damage.
And he does love doing it, so he's happy to be the guy up front.
I'd quite like to spend, like 4 gold on a mail coat and mail coif, so I can.
Okay, so what I want one of you to do, if you would, well, so you're going to go to a blacksmith. So there is a blacksmith nearby, and his name is Joachim Gubben. He is your typical blacksmith. He's balding with a comb over. He's very sweaty and dirty. He's got a very thick leather apron on, rolled up sleeves. He carries 2 hammers. He's got a couple of anvils and some very hot fires going in his little. It's not even in a building. It's like at the side of a an inn called the Big Boat Inn, and it's like a canopy next to it that is sort of attached to the wall of the inn and pulled out, and all his wares are underneath there. Can I help you, sirs?
Yes, sir.
Right.
You can. We are looking for fine wares.
And is this metal wares? I can do weapons. I can do swords. I can do axes. I can do daggers. I can do maces. I can do morning stars. I could do. What else can I do? I can do armor. I can do chainmail. I can do plate mail. I can do little necklaces. I can work with brass. I can work with copper. I can even work with gold, although I don't have that much gold to work with. Yeah. So, my prices are very reasonable, and I like to. So I could give my children, maybe in the future, a little bit of gold, to make them smile.
Well, sir, you sound like just the man we're looking for.
Well, yeah, my two favourite hobbies are raising children and blacksmithery. But I have a large family of many children, as well as my smithy here that is, quite a reasonable smithy. Yeah, but we're in the poor part of town here, and we don't get much custom. So yeah, I'm sure you'll understand why my prices are the way they are.
Well, I haven't seen your prices yet, but I'm sure they're going to be fair.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, what are you looking for?
And then I'm like, we are looking for... What are we looking for? Ilmarin probably has no knowledge of armor.
We're looking to get kitted out in armor, specifically a suit of plate mail for me, and then my friends have other additional requirements.
Okay. Well, like I say, all things metal, and I can make it, and I've got quite an extensive stock. Well, I say extensive. I've got like 2, maybe 3 things of most things that are covered. I have got a very impressive dragon's headed. It's more like one of those creatures of legend, a Jabberscythe. Yeah, I've got the head of a Jabberscythe in metal. Yeah, iron. Yeah, shaped into a codpiece.
I personally would not be interested, but
yeah. Well, it is a bargain at 16 gold coins.
I have a feeling that we won't be interested in that particular piece. But I would like to allow my friend Ilmarin and Mordek, the dwarf merchant, to discuss terms with you and verify the quality of your materials.
I will not, before we go any further, have a dwarf picking fault with my wares.
I'm sure my dowie companion will be able to look at your wares and see them for
Mordek folds his arms.
for the skilled work that you have managed as a human. I'm sure your wares are perfection personified. Aren't they, Mordek? And he kind of nudges him.
Yep. As a manling, I suppose so.
See?
But it ain't gonna be like no dowie craftsmanship, I can tell you that. But as a manling, I'm willing to let that pass.
So we're
So what
halfway
is it you
there.
have to do?
Well, my good sir, as we said, our friend here, who is a knight of the White Wolf. I've got that right, haven't I, Hagen? White and the Knight.
Absolutely, that was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, see. So my friend here is a knight of the White Wolf, and he needs to be attired in such a manner. So he needs a plate mail armor.
That is
You're
correct.
talking
I'm
just
looking
the breastplate?
for the plate the breastplate, plate bracers, and plate leggings.
Do you want a helm?
No, the followers of Ulrich go into battle without helmets.
Would you mind taking most of your outer layers off, sir? And he sort of reaches down and he pulls up sort of screen, and yeah, you can step behind here. Let's see what you're made of.
He does.
Okay. So yeah, you want the do you want an open helm or a normal helm?
No helmet.
You don't want a helmet.
I would like a helmet, but the followers of Ulrich go into battle without a helmet.
I could get you one with a special strap on so it doesn't fall off. You can't beat a good strap on.
That is all right, my friend. I will let that pass. Just the breastplate, leggings, and bracers.
Okay, so no strap-ons and no.
No, I will not need a strap-on.
How about shields? I could get you a good strap-on shield.
I tend to fight with a two-handed weapon, sir, so I will unfortunately not be able to avail myself of the use of a shield.
So we're talking leggings, bracers, and breastplate, yeah?
That is correct. Good sir.
Okay. Oh, I could do that for you for 35 gold coins. And did you say you wanted 2 of those? So I'd obviously do that for a nice deal of 65 for 2 sets of plate mail.
I allow my associate Ilmarin and Mordek to do negotiations for us.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but normally a good suit of plate mail would sell for around 28 gold. Is that correct?
Mordek nods approvingly.
Bear in mind,
Looking
he
a
was a
little
merchant, so
gruffly.
he would know even. more
Yeah,
than just-
even if you don't know, Dan, Mordek would definitely know.
Yeah, so my eloquent elven winged friend, you are right. Yeah, it would. But you're talking about a dwarven set of plate mail, which is obviously very much shorter and stuntier than that of a good, solid human set of armor.
No, I was referring to human armor. Dwarven armor goes for a lot more than human armor.
Well, yeah, it does, because you have to polish the sharp edges around by the face, else it tends to pull beard, hair out, and then you get a whole new sort of different problem there. Yeah. I've known many a dwarf turn ginger and shave the sides of his head and tattoo himself all up and go to war because half of his beard hair has been pulled out by his armor. True stories, that.
Well, I'm afraid that if you're gonna maintain these very high prices, then we should probably go have a look around to see if the other blacksmiths are available.
Well, I didn't say that was my final price, did I? I mean, how it works here in Humanland, I keep meaning to call you Pointy. There's nothing insulting me, by the way, my eloquent elven brother. How we do things down here in Humanlands is we have a little bit of a discussion. We work it out. We have a drink, and then we come up with a price. We shake on it. We share spit, and it's all good.
I think we can pass on the sharing spit phase. However,
but you can't seal a deal without a good spit.
Well, I will leave that to my companion Mordek. I'm sure he'd be more than happy should you provide us with the correct price. Now, what we have here is a group of travelers who are looking to spend a lot of coin, but that coin has to be spent wisely, and I would not aim to spend it frivolously. So,
would you like anything else from me?
So I think we're going to get.
I could maybe work a deal with you.
Well, I think we should have a little look around your establishment to see first that we do approve of your work. I'm sure it's very good, but we should have a look around, avail ourselves of your product. And then we can give you our list, at which point you can give us a good deal for a lot of work. And you
Okay.
may just get a bit of gold for those children that you were talking about.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I can deal with that.
Okay. So can me and my companions peruse for a short while and we'll come back to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And I walk over to Hagen and I'm like, does the plate look okay, Hagen? I have no idea what I'm talking about here.
Does the plate look okay?
Yeah. It's not shiny. It's not ornate in any way. There's no sculpting on it. It's basically plain dark iron armor. It looks solid enough. It looks like it is around about a fit for you, but again, without being fitted for armor and paying a great deal more, or maybe going through your order, would you get a suit of armor that does absolutely fit you? There's going to be a bit. I mean, if you maybe wore an helmet, yeah, you can imagine yourself riding along and the helmet slowly turning around. But yeah, it's definitely not the ideal fit, but it looks, like it'll do its purpose.
It's Ilmarin. It's serviceable plate. It's definitely not ornate, but we don't really need ornate. It's close. It's functional. It's close to the right fit. Johan might be able to work with it a little bit to improve the fit, but it will definitely get the job done.
If I remember rightly, Carolyn, you have a little bit of knowledge of blacksmithery. Is that what it's called? Blacksmithery?
Depends on who you talk to, but yeah, sure, a little. I'm no expert.
Well, I'll have to give you this, Carolyn. You're probably a bit more of an expert than I am, because elves forge their metals completely differently to humans and dwarves. So I have no idea what's going on here. So what do we all actually need? Like, I would like something that protects. And he kind of gestures to his body, shoulders, and arms. And by that, he wants a mail coat that covers the arms and the body.
What's Mordek already got? Because I think he already had some mail of some sort.
Yeah, I think Mordek already has chain mail.
I have a mail coat and a leather jerkin.
Cool.
So I need a helmet and legs.
I'm probably not going to bother with covering my legs because it just gets to the point where I'm running out of encumbrance.
Being a dowry, I assume I'm supposed to be encumbered. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah. So I mean, looking at it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So if we get the suit of plate for Hagen, a mail coat for 3 or 4 mail coats, depending on whether we figure that Johan would want one.
May already have one.
And I'd like a shield, I think. Maybe not the helmet, but the shield.
Martin's like doing some counting on his fingers now. You can see him touching different parts of his fingers. You don't know what he's doing, but
Should
Are you counting in Babylonian? And then a helm or mail coif. I mean, if you're going for a plate helm for the dwarf,
I'll give the elf my abacus.
I don't need that. Most intelligence. So what we need is a mail coat for myself, a full plate with no helm for our good knight friend.
Yeah.
For yourself, you would like a mail.
So if we say 3 mail coats.
3 mail coats.
That's one for you, me, and Gerhardt.
Gerhardt, is that what you want? Mail coat, yeah?
Yeah, mail coat and legs. Shows, or whatever we call
Chasseurs.
How French it's supposed to be.
I've always called it chasseurs, but And then Mordek.
And we want 2 lots of them, so that's that.
And then a male coif.
And a male coif for Mordek. Did you want any?
They have got more deck. They've got quite an impressive helmet there. There is sort of an open helmet with a sort of rim around it, almost like one of those piss pot helmets, but it does look quite good, and it looks like it'd fit on your head quite well.
No thanks.
Got a strap.
Did you want a leg? The leg armor?
Yeah, I
Dan?
needed the leg armor as well.
No, Ilmarwin.
No, I don't
Ilmarwin
wish to be
Dan.
slowed down any more than I have to be. Human armor is very heavy from what I have seen and felt.
Okay.
And elves are used to moving a little bit.
Cool.
So I wouldn't say no to any sort of leather van braces and leggings and if they have those kind of things, but I will not push the matter. I'm quite happy with a male coat. I need to protect. And he starts gesturing to himself again.
All of me.
Well, he needs to be flexible and move because he's an elf, and he doesn't want to be encumbered and slow.
So we could get leather leggings.
Could you all make me a perception check, please?
Probably
Yes.
not. It's more reference to my character's perception score than anything else. Failure, failure, failure.
Wait a second. Jim, do I feel is it a threatening test we have to do right now?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
yeah, you don't feel threatened anyway.
Okay, 1 second.
37.
I have a perception of 20.
Yep, I
Every time
succeed.
someone does it, it moves the thing.
28, 37, 40.
Just let me know how many success levels that you get.
I got 1 success level.
I also got. Well, I got no success level. I just succeeded. Exactly succeeded. I don't actually have 0 fortune points remaining. I just haven't put them back up since last time.
Okay.
I will use a fortune point to re-roll mine,
Okay.
Oh!
and I get 3 success levels.
Okay.
Paying very close attention while everyone else is shopping. You've given them what you need. Here's my shopping list.
Did anybody get better than 3 success levels?
Don't think so.
As you're sort of perusing through the armor and everything, there's a bit of commotion quite a distance from you, but it's like in the market area. And there seems to be a few guards rushing over to that general area. And you've noticed that there's someone very finely dressed seems to be making commotion and almost starting a fight. And you've seen him. You've realised where you've seen him before, and that was when you entered the bar again. You didn't speak to them, but you just noticed because of how impeccably dressed he was, how fashionable, how he is the black-haired, rather large brute of a well-dressed man.
Well, I'm not particularly going to try and get involved with that.
Yeah, and there's an argument going on.
Okay.
I just realised I'm not actually there. I gave them my list of stuff I needed and went
Yeah.
to see that.
And so you want Ilmarwin, you wanted a leather jack.
No, I already have a leather jacket. I wish
you
to
already
have
have a
a
leather jack.
male coat.
Okay, we should go over the top of your leather jack. You wanted leather leggings, fine. Okay, cool. So, in fact,
I
okay,
don't know if I can wear leather armor. It's kind of weird. But
your weird magical thing.
Well, because I can wear metal armor, and you would assume that I could wear leather underneath it, because that's how the armor normally works in it. But it might specifically be only metal.
It is only metal, I think.
Yeah, probably. Just means it's more expensive.
So, totaling all that up on my side, I make that the plate mail. I've so 3 mail coats, 3 mail leggings, a mail coif, a shield, leather leggings, and a leather jack. Leather jack for Hagen, leather leggings for Omarin. Comes out at a sort of market rate of 47 gold and 6 shillings.
Excellent. Thank you. And I basically now, Jim, take that to
I'm
the man.
sure that Carolyn was not the one who worked that out.
Make me a perception roll again. Done.
Okay. This is actually one of the skills I should be good at. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm going to re-roll that with a fortune point. 'Cause, you know.
Let me know how
Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, I don't suppose I'm allowed to re-roll it with my last fortune point, am I?
No.
No. Okay, then I horribly fail.
unless one kind soul on Twitch is willing to so a fortune point your way, a reroll your point, should I say, your way. That looks like a no. Okay, you pull your coinage purse out, and you sort of take it out and go to put it in your hand to open it up, and you realise that there's a tear in the bottom of the bag. There's still a substantial amount of coin in there, but
That's
it looks
been in
like
more
some might have fell out.
this entire time.
Yeah. How much have we actually got left then?
How much have we got left then?
There is 65 gold crowns missing. No, got left. Yeah. So there is 10 gold coins missing.
Someone's had off with 10 of our gold.
Yeah, when was the last time we checked our bag? Was it like when we left the...
I imagine Mordek's been keeping quite a careful eye on it the whole time.
Yeah, and I imagine we formed a little circle around Mordek as we walked through the market.
Walking relatively carefully to avoid anyone getting through.
But
you gave it to the person with a perception of 20.
And surrounded him with people with perception of 24. Yeah, my perception. Crap.
Anyway, so we can't deal with that. We've clearly had loss. Anyway, so I take our shopping list to the man, along with the market value of that shopping list.
Which Mordek has clearly.
Mordek is clearly
provided.
Yeah, as a
group,
an ex-merchant.
Yeah, and as an ex-merchant,
Mordek has clearly been the one to provide that.
So you pass the list over to the man, and he looks at it, and he almost gets a bad case of asthma, as in he keeps needing to breathe in quite heavily. Yeah, I could get all this for you, but how soon do you need it?
We have some time.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, okay, let me just work this out. Leggings. I'll have to speak to my friend Rupta across the way about the leather items. Yeah, I don't carry those items, but I can get a good deal for you on those. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that seems fairly reasonable to me. Yeah, I could. I could do you everything for 50 gold crowns.
Now, does that 50 gold crowns include fitting for my friend here for the plate? Because I know plate is notorious for, if it doesn't fit well.
He sort of looks at you without saying anything. He's looking at you like you've just stepped on his favourite matchstick built stable that he's built.
I'll take that. Can I use blather? Can I actually use my blather skill here and see if I can? I've never actually used it. I've got it. I don't know what it does. It does a thing. It makes people like do things, right?
Yeah. You can
There's
use
also-
blather, yeah.
That's a charm roll,
I do
and
have
it's an opposed charm roll as well.
Wow.
So he can roll his charm
Wow.
against you.
I'd clicked away. I was like, I think
He got
Ilmarin
46, so yeah,
Ilmarin
he's
is
failed by
turning him around.
he's failed by
Ilmarin is just
Success
laying
level.
it on thick now. He's silver tongued. He's almost in his diplomatic element now, and he's selling it to this guy. He's like, we've heard you're such a good, but obviously, understandably, we need to make sure we get the right prices and the right fittings. And of course, this reflects on you as a blacksmith as well, because we're going to be seen wearing your items. When people ask us where we got our items from, we're going to tell them we got them from you. So perhaps we can work this out and get this. We're happy to pay 50 gold, but it needs to be fitted properly. And he does all that, and he does all the silver tongue, and basically kind of turns him in and out. And every time he thinks he's negotiating back, Ilmarin turns it back on him.
Well, yeah. You seem to know your stuff there. My long-haired friend of a very different culture. Yeah. So I like you, and I like your friends. So the fitting thing, it's going to fit your friend, yeah. But if you want armor fitting, then it's going to be a lot more expensive than that. Like proper fitted. I mean, you're coming to get sort of like a stock set of armor. So it'll need bashing into shape a little bit, maybe, which I could do for him. But other than that, it is what it is. But like I said, but because you speak so eloquently and you seem to know your stuff, and you obviously got some sort of background in smithing or or whatever. Yeah, I mean, might be in your elven sort of natural stock of skills, so to speak. But I'm willing to throw these two in as well, in for 50 gold coins. And he sort of leans underneath his counter, and he pulls out a pewter bull and a pewter horse.
We have no need of such items.
But they're beautiful.
Oh, well, they look.
Things are beauty. Yeah, I mean,
they look stunning.
You'd be able to trade these in the rural areas for many more coins than what you would be able to in the city.
It's just carrying the items. They look heavy and they do look well crafted, but we have no need of such items. But like I said, we can always perhaps we can go somewhere else and speak to someone else. So you said there's another blacksmith.
All right, I'll do you them for 49.
Well, see, my friends say that it's 46, so maybe you come down to 46.
I'll tell you what, we'll meet in the middle. Yeah, 48.
47.
48 is the lowest I could go.
And then go on then. We'll go speak to another blacksmith. Thank you very much for your time, kind sir. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right. Okay. Yeah. 47 and 6.
I think we have ourselves an arrangement. Mordic, can you spit on your hand, please, sir? My friend will shake your hand.
And there's a big squelchy shake of hands. Like a big victorious sponge.
You actually genuinely see Ilmarin grimace.
Now, I'm kind of keen for us to pay for these up front so that he's so the security of the gold is his problem.
Yeah, and Ilmar, in the process of that, using some of his blather skills just there, draws up a mini contract to ensure that the goods are contracted to us as part of this deal. So he draws a little.
I've got stock. I've got the stock here, so I can
Okay.
get them ready for you now.
Oh, excellent! Even better. We can just leave with it. Oh, fantastic. Oh, excellent. Well, if you can get the stock piece and get it better fitted for our knight friend, you're obviously swinging his sword. He needs a proper movement.
Yeah, no problem.
Good stuff.
And he goes into a chest on the floor and he opens it and he pulls out bits of chainmail and he sort of dumps them at your feet. Yeah, I think it is, and it's everything that you asked for. In decent condition, to be fair. It looks well made, even though it's almost smart price armor. But you know, it's got no frills or anything like that. Yeah, it's just a basic,
Functional is what
does
we
its
needed.
job, functional armor.
Makes us
And
get
yeah,
rested.
he fits this armor on Hagen. It is quite big, even with the leather jacket underneath it. But it kind of makes Hagen look a little bit more menacing because of how big it is. And he sort of hammers it into so it moves around less. He does stick some sort of tool, like a handheld anvil almost, inside the armor as he sort of hammer it and folding it down a little bit. And he gets it to fit quite reasonably. You sure I can't get you that helmet?
No, sadly, my order does not believe in going into battle with a helmet.
And so as Hagen stands there in his armor, you do notice that on his left arm, sorry, I've got my right arm there, on his left arm is a hammer and an anvil, yeah. And it just says underneath, written in common for those who can read.
I'll get that eventually.
Yeah, Gubbins Metal Wares, arms and armor.
Beautiful. There we have it.
I expect we can probably fashion that into
It's
something
almost
a little more.
Yeah, it's almost a designer label. So yeah, you know, it's your Gucci of the old world, maybe.
Well, sir, if the armor stands me well, I'll be happy to tell people that we bought it here, and I have no doubt that it will.
So Ilmarin, you notice that there is someone that you recognise, and he's looking through the wares as well, even though he doesn't look like a certain. I mean, it happens to be Alphonse, the orange and yellow wearing fop Tillian gambler. And he looks up and he notices you and he
Sengo
bows.
robbed us.
Sort of very low bow and takes his hat off and stays down there for a good few seconds before he rises again.
I return with a curt nod myself. And then to my companion.
Ilmarin, who is your friend?
My friend is... I didn't catch your name this morning, sir. What is your name?
I've got to get my accent right again now. I am Alphonse. I am a traveller from Tillia.
He's Alphonse Hagen.
Well met, sir. I am Hagen, Ritter von Delbers. It seems that I saw you just moments ago, or it seems like just moments ago in the inn when we were leaving.
Yes.
A coincidence? Hagen gives him that look that says,
Indeed,
I don't believe
we
in coincidence.
We are how you say,
BRB.
shopping.
Well, we shan't keep you. We've also just completed our shopping. As you can see, we have purchased some wares and we shall be on our way. But I wish you very well and good day, sir.
Okay. And as you walk off, Hagen, you notice that he's joined again by the big guy who was having an argument that seems to have petered away. And they're sort of in conversation about something or other. But they do look dodgy. They're definitely not someone to be trusted. You kind of get a feeling.
Carolyn, Ilmarin.
Sorry, I was
Those-
AFK for a moment.
Oh, no, that's okay. Carolyn, Ilmarin, those two clearly have some ulterior motive, whether it's simple thievery or something more sinister, I don't know, but we should keep our eyes on them. I do not think it's a coincidence that they were in that inn or that they're here in this market. And I am far too weak to deal with a serious altercation today.
Well, Mordek, my friend, it looks like you might get a fight today yet. Though I do agree with you, Hagen. It seems almost impossible when you consider the math, and he starts doing his fingers again. And it's almost impossible that we would bump into him in the same location 3 times in a short period of time. This is a big town, and they just always seem to be appearing where we are. So they're definitely following us, is my assessment.
I agree. And whether or not they're Bretonian spies or cultists or just thieves, who's to
Probably
say?
the ones
But
that made us a bit shorter of coin.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. Hopefully, they'll be foolish enough to confront us directly, and we can assess that situation.
Yeah. Either way, we can.
We should probably catch up with Gerhardt so he's not alone. Remember what happened last time he was alone? He got taken by a
I'll
bunch
be
of
back in a
criminals.
second.
That's a good
Okay,
point.
Mordek, see you in a minute, mate. Have fun. So yeah, I imagine we'll make our way to where we think we last saw Gerhardt. Did he tell
Well, I
us where he
think
was going?
Gerhardt's headed off. Yeah.
Yeah, he went off to meet the wizard contact.
Yeah, I assume I would have told you guys, just on the off chance I get ambushed again or something.
Then
So, yeah, Gerhardt, you find this residence, and it's amongst normal houses, but it just tends to be a little bit higher than the houses, and almost tries to make itself a tower, but a very crooked tower, as the roof sort of rises and rises and rises. But it don't look like you could fit anything up there. It just looks like it's been made to look bigger, this house. And yeah, it is the door is open, and above the door it just simply reads magics and mysteries.
I'll walk in. Rap on the door as well.
And there is this
Okay.
red-headed,
Oh no.
red robed wearing
Oh no.
wizard type, very sort of long, unkept beard and hair, and his robe is all ripped and just badly looked after. It just looks well worn and threadbare.
I'm just gonna
come on
before-
in,
I'm
take.
just gonna check myself and make sure that like my book is well tucked into my bag and all that stuff, so nothing like flammable is sticking out. Just because I have a feeling that might be pertinent, and then I'll go in.
How can I help you, my friend?
I've been sent by an acquaintance of mine. I need to acquire a magical license. I've come to a point in my studies, but I don't unfortunately have the time to go back to the university, and I've been told you can help me out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, I am quite a high-standing member of the Wizards Council within Ubersreik. I could sign you off a license for the, but obviously it will cost you a small fee of 1 gold crown.
Very well. I'll take out a gold crown. Do you need to test me or anything?
I would like to see what skills you have. I mean, and he pulls out like quite a thick book with the word register scrawled on the front of it. Yeah, so what is your name?
I'm Gerhard Akram.
Okay, who writes that down? And what is the specialist field of the arcane that you wish to study?
I study the winds of metal. Shimon.
Ah, okay, interesting choice. He writes that down. And
I
what
am
is
festooned with like the stuff
Yeah.
that Johan made for me, so like metal objects of various.
And,
intricacies for-
what is your best idea of what age you are?
I have 24 summers.
Okay. And do you have any identifying marks or features? Birthmarks?
No. As you see me.
Okay. Okay, yes. And he pulls out this piece of paper from within the book, puts it down, and he does this very elaborate sort of signage and hands you over this piece of paper that it reads your name, your specialist field, and it says that you're licensed to cast magic within the empire.
That was less traumatic than I expected. Much obliged. Hopefully we'll keep the witch hunters off my back.
Indeed, Von Gebel said you would be calling, so.
Of course. I assumed he.
Is there anything that I could do for you, or anything that any teachings that you require? Obviously, they will cost a small fee, but.
Well, I assume from your attire that you're a bright wizard.
Yes, but I have knowledge of many things, and not all of it has to be the spells of which I am skilled within. I know knowledges and other things, and I have a very grand, although very small, but grand library within these walls that I would be happy for you to peruse. But again, a small fee would need to be paid.
If you wouldn't mind my seeing your books, by all means, I'd love to see what you have.
Okay. Yeah, so for 5 silver shillings, you can spend the day here and help yourself to the readings downstairs.
I'm going to be looking for anything to do with elven magic, and specifically going to be looking for anything that might have given me some idea of how our dark elf friend got out of his trap.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark down this monies. Okay. Ugh, I don't have a lot of money. I haven't been marking many of the times that we've actually gotten money. So I feel like I might be behind.
Okay, so you do find some quite old tombs. There's one that talks about ancient elven magics and cults. There's another one that talks about magics of natures and trees. There's another quite thick book that talks about weather and embracing it and funneling its power, along with the winds of magic as well. And yeah, there's lots of local history books as well.
hoping that between all these, at some point in the future, if I study it and take notes, at some point something pertinent might come up as we're going through. And
Are there any books that you particularly are looking at? The ones that I've given you so far? Any ones that you particularly want to look into, or?
I'm most interested in any, like I said, anything to do with that. The probably the first one that you mentioned, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite an old book. The binding's coming away slightly, and the pages are quite loose in there. But it talks of ancient stories of young gods within the old world and the lands of the old world and the lands of the elves, and ancient cults and what people believed in. It talks of theories on
Nagash.
just
like scrolled in the
there are some mentions of Nagash in there, and it seems to be within chapters around ancient elven dark gods. There's theories that are wrote in there that certain gods came in, as children of other ones, and some of the ancient gods and things were banished and trapped and things. But there's a name that keeps coming up that just seems to read Mornglim, and also referred to as the Faceless One.
And as a god or as an elf, or
he's just known as an old one more than anything.
Okay.
And from a lot of the language, you sort of don't get. It's a very old, ancient form of language, and it talks of his relationship with what you think is Cain, the god of murder, and also the god of the dead as well. But it almost seems that it talks of this Mornglim as a father figure to certain younger gods.
Okay. Interesting.
And again, you see the name Nagash in there, but you don't really understand the context that it's written, and it's very hard to sort of put two and two together. But it seems to mention the dead rising from the ground, and this Mornglim being carried on an ancient black throne by the dead itself.
Accounts of said dead being very, 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 very hard to kill and repeatedly trying to be put down.
No.
That's more of an Ebb and Blade thing. Okay. Cool. And if I have any more time after that, I'll probably look into the local history stuff as well. But
okay.
I may be discovered by my friends before then.
Okay. Yes. So you go to where your wizardy friend said he was going to. You meet up with him. There's this very lively, red-headed, bearded wizard type who seems very manic and hyper, and he sort of shows you down into the cellar, into the library that he's created, to where you find Gerhardt sitting at quite a rickety table with a couple of tomes reading through them.
Well met, Gerhardt. How goes your studies? Were you able to accomplish what you set out to do today?
Yeah. I found some interesting stuff. Is the wizard guy here, or do you just show them down?
It just shows them down.
Okay. Some mention of old and quite dark elven gods. That I don't know if they're relevant to Magnus and the stuff we found below the city, but
Ilmarin,
stand
would
out.
you know?
I'll tell him
Probably
the
not if they're
bits that I remember.
dark. Jim, does Ilmarin recognize the name that Gerhardt gives him?
No, you've never heard of this before. You recognise the names of the god of murder and the god of death.
But not
Yeah.
this Morglim. Okay, so
No,
that's what.
You also recognise the name Nagash. It talks of him learning, but again, this is some really ancient, like sort of manuscripts that even you can't. You can sort of read it like it's a pidgin language, but you can't read it like fluent.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the guys out. And I was like, well, I know these two gods because these are part of our pantheon still, but I have no idea who this Morglim is. And you can see, like, literally, there's got the Gerhardt on the table, like crouched down, and literally over his shoulder with his hand. So almost like he's cuddling him a little bit. He's running his hand over the text and trying to read some of it as well himself now.
Definitely no social distancing.
No, absolutely no social distancing.
Gerhardt takes literally no notice.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Yeah. We're both. I would almost say that both Gerhardt and Ilmarin are almost as intent as each other right now, looking through this text. Very interesting.
Because it just mentioned Nagash.
Yeah. With the Magnus thing, I mentioned, we should probably start like spewing ideas back and forth. But the Magnus thing, and he mentioned Nagash. Now I've sent a note back to my parents in Altdorf to see if anybody sort of back home, home, knows of any of these names, and I can always send them.
Carolyn sort of standing in the background, looking bored, and looks over at Mordek.
But maybe
Mordek is lighting a pipe.
But maybe I can send another note about this Morglim, because I've never heard of this Morglim. It's never been mentioned in any of the Elven pantheons before. And even the dark ones, we tend to know about them, but they sit on the outside of our pantheon, and they're more the pantheon for the Druki. Oh, this is very interesting. Very interesting.
Hagen is trying to look interested, but he's so exhausted and so beat up. He's just leaning against his hammer, and he says, "Ilmarin, that actually might be a very good idea. See if any of your people or your parents knows more information about this." And then maybe
at that
Gerhardt
point, sort of
later,
Ilmarin snaps up and goes, "How long ago did I send that first note? When? I actually haven't had any replies.
It's been quite some time.
When did you send it?
Well, when did we get out of the tunnels? I've lost so track.
Yeah, right after we dealt with the halflings. And since then we've gone
there and back for the
Bretonians, and we've dealt with and my knighting ceremony, and so it's been like a month at least.
Not
well, because
sure
my knighting ceremony was
yeah.
But it was on a specific
few weeks
day,
certainly.
Yeah. How unusual.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
How quickly would you expect to hear back? I wonder.
Yeah, actually, how fast did the raven fly?
You'd expect it back within a week or 7 days, definitely.
Yeah, so this is very unusual.
Because it was a couple days out to the Bretonian camp and back just by itself. So
yeah, well, I mean, they're probably they're high up diplomats in Altdorf. They're probably very busy, so hopefully they've got my message. But I'll send another message with this extra name on.
Your first message did mention the Druki.
Yeah. I mentioned the Magnus and actually I haven't messaged him about this Ebon Blade. Perhaps I should add the Ebon Blade to it, and you can see he's got a bit.
Given your initial reaction to the Druki, I'm guessing this is not something your parents would take lightly.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. We don't. Certainly, a Druki being on in the old world is very, very rare. And in the manner in which he was kept is even rarer still. I mean, I'm not aware of it. Yes.
Behavior as companions.
Well, yes, that's most unusual. But yes, I will send another message and see. Hopefully, we will get a response. Because I feel the more we involve ourselves in this, the deeper this becomes.
Aye, that's true. Oh, Gerhard, by the way, I think Mordek has the armor that you requested.
Oh, excellent.
Also, the two Tillians that were in the inn earlier today seem to be following us. I expect for some nefarious means because, let's face it, that's the only kinds of things we've run across lately. So just be on your guard.
These are the card players?
They
Yes.
foppishly dressed.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
they. Oh,
realising
sorry,
I'm
Hagen. Yes,
cynical,
they introduced themselves as card players. I,
Mm.
of course, refused because the elves do not partake in gambling.
but I noticed
is.
the outfits, alright. Didn't spot the accents.
Someone did slit our purse as well and pocket a few of our coins. So they may be nothing worse than well-dressed cut purses, but with our luck, I would not want to bet on that.
Keep an eye out for them.
So,
How late is it, Jim?
So again,
How late is it?
it's about mid-afternoon.
I want to make it. I want to get back to the Temple of Ulrich. See if there's anything we can do there.
And I must confess, my friends, I need to find a place to rest for the rest of the day and night, perhaps. And perhaps someone could help me, accompany me back. I am far weaker than I can ever remember being.
I'll accompany you, Hagen.
Thank you, Omar. I greatly appreciate it, my friend.
What's the name of the elven language again?
Eletharian.
Elitharian. In my very pigeony Elitharian attempt, I'm going to say "well met" to Omar as he's leaving. About stuff that we talked about. I'm going to keep staying ready for a while.
Ilmarin turns around and kind of smiles and is like, "You were close." And he
Bear in
repeats it
mind,
back.
I have linguistics as a talent, so I'm going to try and learn the language.
So Ilmarin repeats it back properly in full Elvish. Well met.
I also have perfect pitch. It should have,
Yes.
in theory, with the musical language. I'm gonna
Okay,
over the
so-
next few nights trying to learn some Elvish from Omar.
So who's returning to the inn? Who's going to the Temple of Ulrich now, or are you going to the Temple of Ulrich in the morning?
I'm going to the Temple of Ulrich now.
And I'm escorting Hagen, accompanying Hagen back to the thing.
I think I'm possibly going there on my own, but I'm going there now.
Okay, so I'll deal with you first, Colin.
What's
as
Smordek
you-
doing?
What's Mordek doing?
I don't think we should all. We should go individually. So I'll go to the Temple of Ulrich as well.
Do you say that by any chance while I'm going? Okay, I'll just continue looking at books.
I mean, you're in the company of a bright wizard, and as long as you stay in there, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong with all that, magic in that one place?
Because
No demonettes of Slanesh are going to jump out or
Gerhardt is
anything like
completely
that.
oblivious. He's like, ooh, books. So if someone doesn't kind of suggest it to him, he's probably going to stay there.
Well, Geralt, at the very least, you should put on your new armor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. And get up and start.
Okay, so Carolyn and Mordek, you get to the temple, and there's some craftsman putting the doors back on its hinges and things at the front. And you go through onto the inside, and you notice quite a young lad in there with just plain grey blanket robes. And he's cleaning up, he's scrubbing the walls, he's made quite a good job of it. It looks very tidy. Some of the broken pews have been put up against the wall for now and tidied away, and it looks like there's about 3/4 of the pews and the furniture and the bits and bobs in there that's been saved. So it's just a little bit more empty than it is normally, but it is in quite good shape. It's been given a real good clean. This lad has really sort of gone at it. He introduces himself to you as Initiate Baldrin von Kampf, or Baldrin of the Wolf. And yeah, he basically says that, he's recently turned his life around to Ulrich, and he heard that there'd been or there was going to be violence there. He was visited by this vision of a great wolf that told him to travel to Ubersreik and to tend to the temple. And here he is, you know. His hair, long hair. He's bearded, even though he's only a teenager. Very unkempt, very rough looking. Looks like he spent like the previous 6-7 months sleeping rough.
I take it you saw the state of this place when you came in. Do you know how to make this place holy again?
I mean, consecration, sir. I intend to pray for guidance. I just wanted to get it a little bit respectable again before, you know,
That seems like a good place to start, asking for help before you've even shown you're willing to put your back into it. Seems.
Yeah, indeed, sir. Madam, even.
He does get a bit of an odd look at that slip. Is there anything I can do to help?
Of course. If you could nip and get me a couple of pails of the water from the well, then I'll sort out some cloths that you can help, you know, clean the floors with me if you wish. And then maybe, you know, if you would like company while I pray, then, you know, I'd be more than willing to. I'd be more than
I want to see
willing
this
to
place
let you join in.
I want to see this place set right.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay. And between the two, you sort of crack on with it. And
Mordek, what you were coming with me? You
Mordek.
You just
really
you just
fussed.
you just
Just
lurking
be
in the
standing in
background.
a corner once again, lighting a pipe, having a
Sure,
smoke,
fine.
and just basically looking around, tutting a bit, going, "Ain't no dowie, you know, ain't no dowie craftsmanship here."
I'm basically ignoring you then.
yeah,
Basically here to make sure that if something happens, you're not on your own.
Which is absolutely fine. But
this Anisha, he seems very friendly, and he don't stop talking. He asks you what you're doing here, what you've been doing here. He tells you all about his recent activities, and now he's lived with nature and hunting. You know, lived off the land. He now intends to learn the ways of the smith and to craft his own armor. He just seems to be very enthusiastic.
cool.
You know, with everything he does to do with Ulrich.
I'll try and find out how much he knows about what actually happened, rather than just the state it was in.
All he knows is that he cleared some bodies out from the trapdoor in the thing. He seen some maybe chaos symbols. He wasn't sure that had been daubed all over the wall in blood. He'd found, you know, bits and bobs, but he said it looked like there'd been a blood orgy here or something, you know. But he wasn't here to dwell on the past. He was here to push forward and to.
Does he? What does he say about the bodies he found in the back room? Because I know none of them were human.
So I've
Elven or Dwarven or anything that should have been here.
I've had a few beastmen within my sights as I've been living off the land, but I've not encountered any of them in combat. But they tend to look a little bit like them. But they were almost like man-sized rats.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they were that I saw. Went down with a good blow.
Yeah. I had a good look round down there, and I did find something while I was down there. And he goes and gets a small casket out of the back, and he opens it up and show you. And it's like what can only be described as kryptonite. So it's a large sort of crystal, sort of crooked crystal shape.
My character has no idea what this is.
Yeah, and it glows an eerie green. But yeah, it shuts it back up again.
I was only gone 2 minutes.
Yeah, there's warpstone.
In fact, actually, I would imagine
it.
Mordek would know what that is.
Yeah, I'm wondering, does Mordek
Mordek would-
react?
Would Mordek is Mordek in the vicinity? Sorry, I was away.
You
for the last 2
notice
minutes.
this green eerie glow when this guy opens this casket, lifts the casket up.
So he said he found
Yeah,
it
you go over and you
down where the rats were.
Yeah, you recognise it straight away. But this casket, it looks like it's
I can take
made.
that for you if you want.
Yeah, it almost shields the power. It looks like it's there to probably keep the power within. It looks like it's lined to protect maybe the outside.
lined.
Yeah, I'm going to go with closing it, and I'll make a quiet note to myself to ask Von Gettle to come and have a look at it later.
Hey, Manling. What be that chest for?
I found it down there, and that was inside. It wasn't locked or anything.
Was
Just
it
this catch and bolt?
be it part of this place?
It was down through the trapdoor into like a cavern down there, semi-buried.
This is not good.
Um,
I say, Manling, I say, that be warpstone. That be warpstone right there, I say.
I've never heard of it, but
Be the
What is
stuff
warpstone?
of magic.
should
Ah.
we? I don't think we should keep it here.
Maybe, do you know anybody who knows anything about magic? Or the arcane?
I'm wondering
We
whether
do.
we should. Yeah, I'm wondering whether we should take it to the Temple of Sigma and let them deal with it.
We should be having a chat. I say we should be having a chat with our wizard friend.
Okay.
I mean, you're free to take it, and he passes you over this casket.
I'll let Mordek take it. I don't like this. Given the amount
You
of
almost...
unpleasant creatures that seem to be interested in what was down there, if they were interested in that, I'm connecting it all to... Down there was
is
bad.
very heavy, Mordek. Almost, you have a close look at it, and you can tell that on the inside that there's lead, maybe really heavy metal, very soft metal. And we
We
shall
need to
leave
be
you
getting
there
this-
for
I
a
was
very
going to
short
say,
while. Yeah, I'm sorry, go on.
I was going to say, hey up, lad, we need to be getting this to Gerhardt.
And some wizard purify that shit. And,
Okay, and we'll leave you guys there as we cross over to the tavern. Okay, you get back to the tavern with Hagen helping him. As you enter the tavern, there is a very young lad. You'd put him around the age of 14 or 15. He wears like a leather coat, and he has a device. He has like a sash across his body, and there's a device of a wolf on the actual sash. And when he sees Hagen come in, he sort of rushes over to help and sort of almost tries to shove you guys out of the way. So let me help you, sir. Let me help you.
Hold, lad. Who are you?
My name is Anders. Anders, sir. Anders on Hummels.
Anders? What can I do for you, lad?
Well, I came back to find my knight, but I've been told that he's no longer with us, and I was pointed towards yourself. I served your uncle, I believe, Sir Merrick.
You were Sir Merrick's squire?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And where have you been, Anders?
He sent me off to send some information back to Middenheim regarding some cult of chaos that he was quite concerned about. And I believe that the name he passed to me was Slinvold.
And you have just returned from Middenheim?
Yes, sir. Yes. And he sort of bows before you. You notice that as he bows, his short hair on top, he has long hair, almost a mullet haircut, but his hair on top sort of flaps down, and it's sort of a wig that he's like a toupee that he's wearing on top, and underneath you can see he's bald, but he has scars over his head. It looks like he's taken some damage to the top of his skull, and he wears this sort of artificial hair that you sort of recognise as maybe horse hair, as like a toupee. The hair on the back of his head, that is sort of shoulder length, and around the sides, it looks like it's his own. But there's like a big toupee of horse hair that doesn't match the rest of his hair at all.
Right, and as well. And you have come to me for what purpose?
Well, I am without a knight, sir. Is there anything that I can help you with for the time?
Well, Anders, for the time, I will tell you this. We are in interesting times, to say the least. And for the moment, I would simply say we will secure, you can stay in my room and we will discuss this more later. But before I take you into my service, we will travel to the Temple of Verena, and we shall ask for the priestess there to guide the truth.
Certainly, sir. Whatever you need.
Well, for the time being, enjoy the hospitality of the inn. Have some potato and fish.
You look really
stew.
sorry. You look really hungry, sir. And he rushes to the middle table and he sort of ladles out a big scoop of fish stew and puts it into a bowl and rushes up and sort of sticks it underneath your sort of nose, sir. Well, you must be hungry, sir.
Anders, I appreciate your concern, but have a seat at the table. Enjoy that bowl of stew. I will speak with Franz to make sure that we have space for you here at the inn.
Okay.
And Hagen goes over to the innkeeper.
I don't mind staying in the stable, sir.
For now, just have the stew. And he motions Franz over and he says, and very quietly, he's like, there's been too many strange things and strange coincidences happening recently. Until I know the truth of that boy, I want to make sure that nothing of our true purpose is known, and I would like to make sure that someone keeps eyes on him at all times.
You are definitely a tankard, half empty kind of fella, definitely.
Yeah, yes, I suppose after the last few weeks, I suppose you could say that I am indeed that.
Okay.
Hopefully he is exactly who he says he is, but until we know for sure, he must be kept at arm's length.
But do you want me and Gunter to sort of put a bit of pressure onto him? We'll get the truth out of him.
No, if he is who he says he is, he himself has suffered enough. Tomorrow after I wake, we'll take him to the Temple of Arena and get the truth of the situation then.
Okay. And
But I would have him sleep out here in the common room tonight, and I would hope that we would be able to keep eyes on him at all times.
yeah, indeed, sir. Yeah, we'll make sure of that. You sure you don't want him scolding or anything?
No, he could be exactly who he says he is, and if he is, then he is under Ulrich's protection until we know otherwise.
And at that point, the rest of your friends enter the bar, carrying a fair-sized little casket.
Carolyn was reluctant to leave, but
You could stay, Carolyn, if you want. The initiate offers you a warm drink and a couple of chunks of bread and prayer.
I think what she'll probably do is walk Mordek back to the tavern to make sure that nothing untoward happens to that casket, then make her own way back to the temple.
Okay.
Because she wants to be there, but she also that seemed important enough to have two people keeping an eye on it, given that there were a dozen of those bloody rat monsters and a demon being interested in it.
Can we all see this casket? Are you just like walking it in like?
Yeah.
What we got?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
So Carolyn turns up you see Carolyn at the door, and then she heads off
Is
again.
Gerhardt back in the inn?
No.
I'm reading.
What do you have there, Mordek?
Warpstone.
What?
Yep.
Wait. You have literally the magical stone of chaos, and you're just walking around with it. At this point, Ilmarin is talking rather loudly. Probably the rest of the bar are probably.
I brought it here.
My default was going to be to treat this a little bit quieter and mention and get Gerhardt.
What is the sharpest tool in the shed?
Mordek.
Hey up, lad. No, hey up. Hey up.
But
Have you
it's
been
kinda
spending
like
too
coming
much
into-
time with the humans?
Hey up.
Come into somewhere
I
like,
wanted to bring it
I've
here.
got weapons grade plutonium. But it's
I
in a
wanted to
box,
bring it here,
so
lad,
it's fine.
to let our Wizdy.
What? You want to
Manling,
give
have a
that to
look
a
at it.
wizard?
I want him to have a look at it so we
No.
can get rid of it properly.
It's literally the stone of chaos. you know,
Well, it shouldn't be left where we found it,
where did you find it? Why have you got this?
where our knight friend had his little encounter with them rat monsters.
Right. First off, that should go nowhere near our wizard. Nowhere near our wizard. Okay? Second, we should not be walking around with this. This is why we get into trouble. Okay? Demons and all sorts of things. You're walking around with essentially the stone of chaos. Go give it to the Go give it to the Sigmarites and tell them to destroy it. I don't hear another word about it.
As you're mid-rant, Ilmarin, this guy he stumbles over to you and puts his arm around yourself, and he stinks of vomit and his own urine. And he sort of turns to look at him, and he looks like he's been sick down himself. And he said, I once found a magic stone, and it was great.
Thank you very much, kind sir. And like Ilmarin kind of presses him off.
All right. Let's put it in the back of the wagon and we'll take it over to the Sigmarites.
We're taking it now, yes? We're going now. Me and you, we're going to go, and we're going to go give it to the Sigmarites. And we're going to give it to them, and we're not going to have it.
Are we not interested as to why
No, Mordek,
this
when we
thing
start
was
asking...
under a church?
No, we will let them determine that. When we start asking these questions, it's when we get sucked into a realm of chaos. And I'm not having that happen to me again. Not again. So we're going to go give it to the Sigmarites, and we're going to have it destroyed, and we're going to leave. We're going to give it to the Sigmarites.
You're having this conversation in the middle of the pub, and that's how we get sucked into a realm of chaos.
Wait.
Again.
Wait. Hey up. I said wait. Hey up.
I'll tell you what, a realm of chaos might be scary to you, but my missus, God, yeah, she's an whole different level of chaos, let me tell you, yeah. Oh.
Ilmarin, not understanding the joke, goes, your wife is a maiden of chaos.
Yeah, she's evil personified.
All I'm saying is,
Okay, yeah.
I'm just. If we have this, does that mean Chaos will come and find us? Because I got a couple of scores to settle.
No, Mordek, no. No, this is how trouble starts. Do you remember what happened when you last got into a fight and you bashed a man over the head with a barrel? This would be 10 times worse.
Mordek, this container that it's in this casket, it does seem fairly hefty and fairly safe.
Like you could quite comfortably bludgeon a man to death with it.
Yeah.
Let's get it in the back of the wagon.
That stone inside, it'd be like a rattle as well. So you could stone him to death or casket him to death while it played a sort of rhythm.
As a jeweler, I'm sure it'd make a lovely bit of jewellery.
Well, yeah, you could have a ring with a big piece. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, and we shall leave it there as we discuss the positives and the negatives of carrying a large lump of, well, not a large, a substantial lump
wizard.
Of warp stone.
Warp stone.
Freshly qualified, just barely a wizard. Bear in mind, not like a master wizard.
And now you've got to give him 4 arms.
In my defence, I have not a clue what this thing is, so I think it's probably good that the first person we ran into was Ilmarwin, who seems to be at least some degree the voice of reason.
Well, we found
At least mildly panicked.
Here you are, go. Oh, you've been possessed.
Can you do anything about this?
Oh, well, 2.
So,
I was warned a lot about this.
It'd be
Well,
magic
thank everybody
stuff, therefore magic users need
Or
to...
even worse, if I didn't know about it, and then I tried to use magic to figure out what it was, and suddenly got 7 corruption points and fucking summoned a demon.
Yeah.
Beowulf is suggesting that we should, one of you should slam it into your forehead like the guy at the end of Diablo 1.
That sounds like a brilliant idea because it went so well for him.
Yeah. Mynak is thinking that Carolyn wants some alone time with the initiate. Okay. So, yeah, thank you for joining us again, guys, for tonight. This has been Once Upon a Time in the Old World, and thank you very much to our players. Thank you very much for turning up and watching us. And I hope to see you next week. So thank you very much.
Great.
Cheers.
Au revoir.
Bye.